Welcome back to the 50 Shades of Horror. I'm Roommate with Review 28. It's Slither from 2006, and here's where it's currently streaming. The setup for Slither is that an alien from another planet crashes on Earth. Once it crashes, it will blur the line between the human and alien. If you think that means the movie will be a lot like Annihilation, well...
not really.
The two movies do have a similar premise, but their tones are so different. Slither doesn't inspire reflective awe, but instead is irreverent and gross. Easily the most foul movie yet, it coaxes a visceral reaction from us. Despite its shocking nature, there's a heartwarming core to this movie. This tonal blend of ignobility and emotional depth makes Slither unique. Slither also distinguishes itself in giving us uncomplicated joys. If you like watching things go boom, then you're gonna get a kick out of this.
Awesome.
I'd say that those are more important to defining the movie than a vague plot outline.
Matter of opinion.
So if you haven't seen it yet, rectify that because there's spoilers from here on out. Our story takes place in the quaint country town of Wheelsy, North Carolina. This is not a place for high stakes, as its people have pretty simple concerns.
There's a skeeter in here driving me bonkers.
You can tell this town is a bit run down, but its people are proud of it all the same. The personification of the city can be found in its mayor, Jack McCready. An arrogant man, he fancies himself as more cultured than he truly is.
Get the fuck out of the way!
Morning, Mayor.
But he's just the right man to put a grandiose spin on the start of deer season.
Right after God invented this world of ours, he came unto Adam. He said that man should have dominion over every living thing upon the earth. When God said that, he was thinking of deer season and how much damn fun it is to shoot a buck or two.
And though Mayor McCready is the most important man in town, he's not our star. That would be the appropriately named Starla, a high school science teacher. She's good at her job, if you ignore how distracting her physique is to the boys.
That's disrespectful.
If you think she doesn't belong in this modest hollow, she once agreed. She had big plans to make a name for herself once she became a young adult.
She's gonna run away to Hollywood and be a big star. And I said, Starla, if there's anyone could take care of herself, it's you. How far did you get?
At the bus stop.
But the realities of life made her settle for a sugar daddy. His name's Grant, and his luxurious lifestyle was a big step up for her. I really like how this movie treats this background with ambivalence. It neither whitewashes their union, nor does it paint it as irredeemable. Grant may have won Starla over for the wrong reasons, but he's not a terrible guy. They both need companionship, and they have a fulfilling, active life together. And Starla has grown to really care for Grant, regardless of his simplicity. This nuanced portrayal shows romance is sentimental and cynical at the same time, so you need to look from all the vantage points to see the whole story. Sheriff Bill Party, who has always been crushing on Starla, is sympathetic. During his boring job, he tells his lesbian colleague that Starla's choice is not so strange.
Hell, if you had a Johnny, you'd have married him too.
What's a Jen?
It's country. You know, where Chinese people come from.
Though we can see once the two return home that they're in a bit of a slump, Grant's idea of foreplay is flashing an ear-to-ear grin before he pounces, which is not exactly doing it for Starla, so she turns him down respectfully.
Honey, I'm just not in the mood. Can't you tell?
When the hell are you in the mood?
Maybe I spoke too soon saying Grant wasn't a terrible guy, because he throws a hissy fit and storms off. He cruises on down to the karaoke bar to meet somebody, and so Miranda comes over to give him some company. Their interest in each other only increases as they screw around in the woods. But something else catches Grant's interest. Then that weird little creature harpoons him and takes over his body from the inside. Without saying a word to Brenda, he awkwardly stumbles back home. The alien inside him wants to start nesting to prepare for its new life on Earth. But when Starla wants to make amends for last night, the alien gets to know love for the first time, and its eager spirit was just what Starla needed. At work a few hours later, she can't get Grant's newfound passion off her mind.
It was like he was discovering all these different parts of my body. This morning, I sensed a real change in Grant.
Grant's changes require a whole lot of meat. He stocks up on an unreasonable amount of porterhouse, and he has to keep his preposterous levels of consumption to himself because the jig is up if the missus gets suspicious. While of course we know that this is a body snatcher situation, Starla doesn't. For her, his strange behavior comes off more as someone who's trying to hide something, like they were having an affair, which truth be told he is. That's That's the genius behind this movie. By showing a marriage that's on the rocks, where two people are growing apart, at the same time that you show a story where a parasite gets inside someone and changes them into a disgusting monster, you show that learning how to deal with these horrifying fantasies can prepare you in the unfortunate event that you have to deal with their equally disgusting real-world counterparts. Say what you want about Grant, but at least he knows how to treat his side chick.
Brought you munchies.
While the Grand Alien is busy with Brenda, Starla decides that she's gonna celebrate the beginning of deer season on her own. But it isn't long before Bill finds her, and as we see these two flirt, we can tell they're just perfect for each other. But their lives have taken different paths, and it would take some kind of earth-shattering event to bring them together. Though they sure don't mind marveling at the beauty of Appalachia with each other. But Starla's an honest woman, and when she comes home, she's looking for a husband, and she can't find him. The cracks in his facade are starting to show, and Starla knows something is wrong.
Baby, what happened to your face?
It's just a bee sting.
It's not long before Starla starts getting curious, and she decides that she's gonna see what Grant's been hiding in the basement. She's shocked and horrified to find raw animal carcasses all over the place, and she calls Bill to get help, but not before Grant realizes that he's been made. Starla tries getting away from him, but he's too fast. He holds her down and is about to submit her to the same fate as Brenda, but then the cavalry arrive, and Grant has to run on his merry way. Bill is able to track Grant through the animal attacks, and he gets the whole police department investigating to figure out where they should do a stakeout. Margaret's line here sets the perfect tone for their supernatural rural manhunt.
How can one man do that? Slay all them dogs by himself.
They find him on the farmland of Starla's student Kylie, where he's nabbing some cows. He looks a whole lot worse now, and Starla tries reasoning with him, but when he gets spooked, things don't turn out so well. And then Grant slithers off into the woods, and they have to go looking for him. McCready shows why he's a leader with an advanced strategy to lure out Grant.
You afraid? Psychology.
They find an old barn in the woods, and they hear some strange noises coming from the inside. When they open it up, they find the missing Brenda, but she's in a way worse way than even Grant is. Bill stifles his bewilderment and disgust long enough to ask Brenda,
So, what's going on here, exactly?
I'm so fucking hungry, Bill. You mind handing me a piece of that possum over there?
But they're too late to help her, and this pinata busts open, letting out a bunch of wiggly worms. They try to climb down everybody's throats, leaving them to choke and pass out. We see this alien life form's even more complex than we thought as Wally wakes up.
I should have planned marriage. It's a sacred bond, just like you said.
What?
I didn't mean to make Brenda warm. But it's my nature, ain't it? How can you blame someone for acting according to his own nature?
So everybody with a slug in their mouth is now part of Grant, and they're taking out everyone who isn't. And Starla lets Grant know she's not interested in seeing other people. Those slimy little monsters make it all the way to Kylie's bathroom. Blissfully unaware, it looks like she's gonna be their next victim. And it does manage to find its way into her mouth. Ugh. But she grabs hold of it and isn't fully taken over. She does link into the hive mind and is given all kinds of visions about this alien's previous life, as well as what Grant had gone through. She manages to rip it out and throw it against the wall, but then she has to finish it off with a hair curler. Yikes. Running out of the bathroom, she finds her mom, but it doesn't look like she's gonna be able to help at all. The movie shows that it's not pulling any punches by killing off both of her sisters. But when she's running across the roof and realizes she'll have to jump to get away from these creatures, we get a very effective and grounding stunt that make these thrills easy to relate to. But the chase is still on, and there's no time to rest, so she has to lock herself up in the truck. Kylie's family are fairly aggravated that she wants some alone time.
There's no excuse not to be with your family. This is family fun day.
Bill's questions about what's going on with Kylie's family get a spurious answer.
What the hell happened to you, Otis?
Poison ivy out back, maybe?
It's clear that Bill's authority as an officer of the law isn't being respected, and once they deal with these rowdy mountain folk, Kylie and Bill make a tactical retreat. Thankfully, Kylie can start answering some of Bill's questions, because he has a lot. What's with the spinning? McCready is being attacked by Trevor, but Bill shows up in the squad car just in time to plow him out of the way. Starla finishes Trevor, showing that she can hold her own in this lover's quarrel.
Bitch is hardcore.
Once everybody reunites in the cop car, they get away as fast as they can. Bill checks in with Shelby at the station and finds out to his relief that she's alright. Though as soon as he hangs up with her, it's revealed that things aren't as safe as they seemed. Sharing her vision with them, Kylie finally makes sense of this dire situation.
It was me. I became it.
Who?
Mrs. Grant's husband.
But he wasn't always him.
He came from...
It's a goddamn Martian.
Martians is from Mars, Jack.
Or its general term meaning outer space fucker.
Starla's biology knowledge let her explain what type of life form they're facing.
It spreads, grows, absorbing the minds and bodies of the organisms around it. It's a conscious disease.
If I weren't about to shit my pants, I'd be fucking fascinated.
The alien Grant hive mind sends a collision their way, halting their way out of town. Their main focus is on Starla, gently carrying her out of the car. Bill's able to rescue Kylie, but when he attempts to free McCready, they get the better of him. Having lost so much already, it's a wonder that Bill and Kylie keep carrying on.
What are we gonna do now?
Probably turn into a couple of these fucked up things.
That's kind of negative.
Well, it's been that sort of day.
McCready definitely needs their help, as he gets stuck in the basement with the wombs. As he tries to escape, he meets his cruel fate, getting turned into one of those worm balloons. The real tragedy is that they're fresh out of the meat McCready should be eating this season: venison. This Grant party doesn't hurt or assimilate Starla, but wants to earn back the love it lost. Starla conceals her spite towards the beast, hiding a spike for the right time to strike, though she's moved to tears by photographs of her happy times with Grant all over the walls. That nostalgia flees as she sees this Grant mutant party monstrosity. This confrontation is so slippery, slimy, grimy, foul. It's so utterly repulsive. As wily Starla talks the hive down from crushing her, there's a hint of mirth, since we watch her play nice with it so convincingly, knowing she's about to get all stabby, and we get that moment of triumph, though it's more a moral victory than a practical one. Bill knows they need to stock up on weaponry and heads back to the station. This grenade inside is set up as important to his quest into Grant's den. Safely hidden in the bushes, they watch the Grant party welcome a new member.
Well, now that is some fucked up shit.
Upon entering the house, McCready asks Bill for help, and he obliges.
Kill me, party, please.
So Bill gets ready to throw his Hail Mary, but Grant flicks it out of the way. Bill tries another toss, but this time Grant just blasts Bill and the bomb right through the window. The dual appendages want to turn Bill into a baby maker, and one finds purchase. He's able to shove the other Talon into a gas tank. The explosive air pumps into the alien collective. Starla seizes the moment and grabs Bill's gun. What's left of Grant can't believe Starla would do it, but this hardcore bitch pulls the trigger. The gas lights and starts a barbecue smelling so nice the whole town's brought to their knees. Now that all the aliens are dead, Starla focuses on what she really cares about: Bill. Kylie lets them know that Bill should be fine since he didn't get stabbed by both prongs. This sweet ending where the lovebirds get together is balanced by the utter desolation outside. Slither gives us the satisfaction of seeing our heroes make it out alive, but ain't no one else doing it. It's a darkly humorous spin on a crowd-pleaser, upbeat ending. We finally get to see Starla with a man of her caliber, the man she's always wanted, but Wheelsy pays a high price for it. The ending blends this picturesque walk into the sunrise with the undignified, scattered corpses. This image is perfect for the end, since it captures the mix of sweet and sour in Slither. It shows how love can keep you walking tall, even when the world around you completely goes to shit. Today's recommendation for another review is for Ryan Hollinger. His channel is horror focused, so he's covered most movies in our challenge. He examines a movie's structure, like how he tracks perspective in this clip.
In the second half, we see the film from the core survivor's point of view. It goes from a domestic slasher flick to a grisly manhunt to a full-on alien invasion, yet it keeps all these dramatic changes coherent and engaging by using that perspective shift.
So click the link below for Slither, a forgotten creature horror masterpiece. Next week we'll stay in 2006, but switch to Korean with The Host. Here's where you can stream this mutant fish monster movie in the US. Next Saturday may seem far off, but let's try to be broad-minded about this. See you then.